Hi, queens! Hi!
RuPaul's Drag Race is a reality that chooses the best drag queen in North America. This program goes live in Spain, UK, or Philippines. According to Parrot Analytics, the Canadian version has more demand than 90% of all the shows in this country. It means that in the last month the audience has watched 4 times more RuPaul's Drag Race than series. I've interviewed different drag queens to know their jobs, where they perform, and the stigmas towards them. We'll see if their life is as glamorous as it is on screen. Fanshawe College has been hosting drag queens events for years. Spectacles raise awareness in the LGBTQI+ community.
Colleges, you think maybe 5-6 years ago wouldn't have done these kind of events, so the diversity and inclusion starting to show that, shows that there's a place for everybody, not just a band or comedy show, that a drag queen can come up and make some jokes and have fun as well and dance.
So Sex Toy Bingo actually originated with one of our staff members in the early mid-1990s, and then another staff member took over for about 3 years, and then you know, Crystal has taken over the last 3 or 4 years.
She produces her shows and performs up to 5 times a week.
When Crystal was born, so that was 18 years ago, so I've been doing this a while now. And that back then it was challenging my art. So I did hair and makeup professionally for the last 20 years before this. And so it was just challenging me where I could do things that I wasn't allowed to basically do on a client, and I do them on myself and go out as different characters. And that's where that led me for a while, and so I do different impersonations and different looks and just challenge my skill set that I have.
Crystal prefers to work alone because it's easier for her. However, Vanity, Robin, and the other 2 drag queens perform on the same stage.
Why? Mostly to explore my gender, I'd say. I've been really close friends with other drag queens and seen drag from an outside perspective, but I'd never actually tried it for myself until after I graduated university and had a bit more time and resources. And then I decided it was time to try it for myself and kind of delve in and figure out who I was and where I lied across the gender spectrum.
I've been doing drag now for 15 years. Been a big, huge part of my life. I don't see it going anywhere. I've given up relationships for drag. Drag has saved me. It has, it's the one job that has never fired me.
Our drag queens have developed multiple changes over the years.
Honestly, I had originally started drag using a different name. It was Hillary Muff at the time, and I didn't have a beard. And I really wanted to be that blonde pop star kind of fantasy. But I became more comfortable as myself when I started growing facial hair. And it was something that I thought, why not incorporate this into my drag? And so I decided to do something a little bit different, and I think it got me noticed instead of trying to fit in.
If there are queens, there will be kings.
Drag kings, they are usually AFAB people, so assigned females at birth who are dressing more masculine kind of thing like that. Because there's lots of different types of performers. Like there's people who like to do more androgynous stuff as well, where they mix like both into it. But the main difference is just how the person decides to present themselves, and it's more so like a personal choice as to how they want to go forward with their persona.
And even women. One of them is Panico, who has been in drag for only 1 year.
I'm biologically a female, so I am AFAB, and I don't want to look like a woman. For me, that is something I don't want to look like. I want to look like I'm not from this planet, I am not from this world, I am not from this existence, I'm a creature, I'm a beautiful, monstrous thing.
Drag performers are self-taught, but they also teach others their art. They are known as drag mothers.
I have a drag mom, and so those are people that teach you drag and help you grow as a drag queen. So that was, we don't really speak as much anymore, but that was years and years and years ago. And so that was because back then, like, drag was underground. It wasn't like RuPaul's Drag Race wasn't out. People didn't know much about drag. It was kind of like, you know, you knew where to go if you were the right person.
The biggest thing that my drag mother actually did for me is she's actually never painted my face other than my nose. That was the only time that she's painted my face, and she helped me glue down my eyebrows. Other than that, she actually would make me paint my own face, so that way I would learn how to do it. Because if she did it, I would have learned her face. But she wanted me to learn how to do my face.
A drag queen must take care of her image. That's why they invest a lot of money.
Now, a lot of the outfits I use for shows, each outfit I'll spend about $1,000. And I have to constantly turn them over so that the show's fresh and people keep coming. So there's money to be made, but it also costs a lot. Like, for instance, pantyhose. I wear 6 layers of pantyhose. They're $40 a pair. They rip. Every week I have to replace them.
And many hours of work.
Even tonight, I'm rushed. I just got back from a vacation. I just went to Mexico, and I debuted there for the first time. I went internationally, and I come back home, and I'm so super tired, but I like my work. I love what I do, so I rushed tonight to get myself here.
There is a lot of hard work that you have to do. There's a lot of work to be done in the community overall, but honestly, once you're on stage, that's where the fun really begins. And the relationships that you can build along the way, and then the doors that you can open once you're in drag becomes very glamorous and then fun, but it takes a lot of hard work to get there.
Although their performances wouldn't be possible without the professionals behind the cameras.
We need to assign staff members their shift that you have to come during this time to this time for helping us out. So they help Crystal to arrange sex toys on table. They help us to get the bingo box onto the stage. And since it's online thing.
So I would say the hardest one is to kind of organize, to get the music in and to make sure it gets to the right person, and the order of the set list. That's the biggest for me, is make sure I don't screw up their songs. Because some of these are songs that they've worked on or created themselves, so you want to make sure that it works when they get up on stage.
Despite all their effort, the stigma towards them is still very present.
We struggle a lot with creating safe spaces for minorities, and I think that drag shows can be such a safe space for so many different minorities. It can make people feel so comfortable. So I just like to bring drag to London, make sure we are creating safe spaces and creating more diverse spaces in such a conservative city here in London.
We also had the events where drag queens were reading the books for our students. So I don't think it's just a way to educate people. And we find that drag queens are the best person to do that.
It's a controversial issue in Canada and United States.
I'm Lavender Skies, and today I'm going to read you a book. So this is...
I think that sorry, it's hard for me to discuss that because to be judged like that when in reality it's the priest, it's the teachers at your school, it's the the mailman.
And I feel like that's all you can really do with your kids is answer them and be there for them. And if they end up wanting to change genders later in life or whatever, or wanting to be a drag king or a queen, then just being supportive of that, because the worst thing you can do is not be supportive of your kids, because that'll destroy them.
Susan started with Drag Queen Storytime in the summer with Amanda Villa, and all went well until November 26th.
They were all dressed in black, head to toe. They were wearing masks, and some of them had balaclavas on, which is the full face mask. They were carrying rolled up flags, so we didn't know what the flag was at that point. And I mean, our jaws just hit the floor. We were stunned and scared. We were very scared. We were not expecting, had never seen anything like this. We immediately called the police, which we were doing anyway. We were calling the police, but we called them to ask them to come right away. and they did. We had 2 police cars on site. So the men made it to our front sidewalk and they spread out.
Susan was preparing for the worst in January 2023.
We had between 150 and 200 people show up, supporters with wonderful signs and rainbow flags, and we had music, wonderful dancing music playing. We were dancing, people were dancing. And there were 4 local people that showed up to protest.
The polemic has not stopped hundreds of students from lining up to see their artist.
A lot of people, when we first started, was very conservative, and as the time grew and we started bringing events in, people were like, oh, we want to see more and more. So we kept on bringing more shows to other cities, especially smaller cities that didn't get to see drag.
The general feedback that we get from students who attend these events and participate in these events is, you know, they're very appreciative of the fact that we do these events. They like these events, and they like that we include you know, their community in our programming offerings.
I'm from Colombia, and yeah, I think it's pretty common back there, but it's definitely more mainstream here. Like, there's a lot of like open-minded people.
You know, it's just fun to hang out with the guys and all that. So it's just nice to see them and all that. So nice to hang out. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I feel like a lot of horny teenagers put it all together. So, you know, might as well enjoy it while it's here.
Drag queens are living a golden age.
It also has no gender or sexuality, so it doesn't mean you have to be gay or lesbian or straight to do it, and you don't have to be a woman or a man or whichever. You can identify as whatever you want because it's art.
So I think that's changing. I think we're seeing a lot more queer events and a lot more diverse events that are allowing for people to show their colors and bring those colors to London and make London a more colorful city.
It's a whole new character. I say if you date Robin or Jordan, you're dating 2 of us.
I know some people that I started alongside that are doing it as full-time jobs now. So it is a lot of work to be able to get there and get to that point.
I went to Pride this year and I had the genderqueer flag, and I didn't see anybody with it. But when I went on stage and I did my performance, which was all about being genderqueer, I looked out into the audience and there was 1 kid sitting there and they had that flag. And I had to find them, and I went out and I introduced myself to them, and I was like, you're the only person there, and like I was so happy to see you.
Sky is the limit. Like, I could be a shark if I wanted to. I could be a vampire if I wanted to. I can just look glamorous if I want to. It's really whatever I want.
They are not alone.
We've had messages from California. We've had orders from Alberta, people just ordering books just to support us. I had a call from a trans woman in British Columbia just saying thank you for everything you're doing. We're getting messages all the time.
I don't see any issues. It's just some thoughts going on in some random people's mind. And yeah. So here at Fan Show, we only care about students, and we bring things that students love, and students are loving these things, and they love drag show, sex toy bingo, they love drag queens. So why not?
Turn the lights on and turn up the music because the show has just begun.